Yali Madad. My name is Zahir Qassam and I'm the chairman for the Aga Khan Economic Planning Board for Canada. Thank you for joining today's webinar on digital transformation, growing your online business. This is the first webinar in a Future of Business series where we will explore and receive practical advice on digital transformation, which will enable you to more efficiently grow your online retail store and business. Given the onset of the health pandemic, there is an urgent need for businesses to adapt to the new market landscape. Businesses must embrace an online digital presence and platform to ensure that they deepen their connection with their customers to not only protect but also grow their market share. This session of Building Your Online Business will be followed by next week's webinar with Shopify on e-commerce. Shopify is a market leader in building and supporting small business online stores. The last of our three-part series will be on embracing transformation and the role of leadership during this period of accelerated change, and this will feature the CEO of Sleep Country. The Economic Planning Board will continue to provide additional programming and business resources to help understand and respond to the future of business. This will include a new initiative to provide strategic advisory services for business owners so that the Jamaat has access to knowledge and support during this challenging time. Today, we are privileged to have an incredible group of panelists with us. We have Natasha Walji, a director at Google, Tariq Haddad, the founder and CEO of Peace by Chocolate, an online enterprise, moderated by Tasneem Bandukwala, executive director of the Gerard Business Improvement Area in Toronto. Thank you so much for joining us today and enjoy the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Zahir. This is an exciting Future of Business initiative by the Aga Khan Economic Planning Board for Canada as we start this series with digital transformation. So a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to our first webinar on digital transformation webinar series. Today, we're going to be discussing the importance of growing your business online now more than ever before. As McKinsey noted, we have vaulted 5 years forward in consumer and business digital adoption in a matter of around 8 weeks. And then we all know one of the key contributors to this accelerated digital transformation of many small businesses has been the global pandemic. I'd like to highlight the fact that that small businesses are the lifeblood of the Canadian economy, representing nearly 98% of companies in the country. When COVID hit, these businesses faced unimaginable disruption, forcing entrepreneurs to reflect, pivot, and ultimately reinvent to survive. So as we look ahead, how can you future-proof your business? Where are you prioritizing your efforts to stay relevant in the new normal? With that, I'm Tasneem Bandukwala, Executive Director, Gerard India Bazaar BIA, and the Festival of South Asia in Toronto, and I'll be your host today and facilitate an interesting discussion on digital best practices, tactics, and insights on growing your business online with our accomplished guest speakers. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our first guest speaker, Tariq Haddad, the award-winning founder and CEO of Peace by Chocolate, who arrived in Canada from Syria in 2015 and built his business online. Joined by a second guest speaker, Natasha Walji, a McKinsey alumni and director at Google, who advises companies about growing the business online. Thank you both for joining me today on this webinar. From my experience and the network of more than 130 businesses that I have been working with every day for almost 5 years, the biggest challenge I see of adopting a digital strategy is the lack of understanding the potential it has to grow your business. It's ignoring the fact that your customers are only one Google search away. So Natasha, when we talk about navigating through COVID and dealing with the new normal, what consumer behavior and trends have you seen? Over to you, Natasha.
All right. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me, and really excited to be on this panel with Tariq and to have you host us, Sim. And so just to touch on consumer behavior a bit, I think we all can recognize our own changes in consumer behavior. And also for many of you in the small business space, I know you've seen a lot of change with your own consumers. I thought what I'd highlight today are just some of the trends that we're noting on our end. And I think the big headline for you is that consumers are leaning into digital, and that is unlikely to change going forward. Many of them are just becoming more comfortable transacting online and also doing more research online, etc. And some of the highlights and trends that we're noting on our end is that e-commerce is expected to go up 21% over the next year here in Canada, while the retail industry is expected to decline by 6%. What's interesting to note is that while e-commerce is going up 20%, only 1 in 5 Canadian retailers actually have the ability to sell online. That means 80% of retailers are not able to sell online, which is why I'm so excited to be here today to share some ideas on how you guys might be able to do that. Secondly, what we noted is after COVID, we saw some big rises in some important search queries online. And what we saw is that curbside pickup and home delivery searches were up 70% and 100% respectively. So again, curbside pickup searches were up 70% and home delivery searches were up over 100%, which is really interesting. I think what's also interesting is that Canadians are looking to shop local. So Canadians in Canada, consumers in Canada suggest that about 50% of them are looking to shop locally as their preferred way of shopping. So I think that's very good versus big box. And what we're noting is that 33% of Canadians actually plan to shop online. And I think one of the key things there that's going to be a decision driver is free shipping. And we also see that contactless support and shopping is a big rising trend for Canadian consumers. So again, I think the headline for all of you is that consumers are becoming digital first, and that is unlikely to change after everything settles. So it's going to be very important that each of you think about that for your own business.
That's insightful. Thank you so much, Natasha. So I think, do you think it would be fair to say that being online is not a luxury anymore, but rather becoming a necessity and the way of doing business in the future? And ignoring the potential of being online is equal to saying, I don't need any new business. Tariq, we're curious to know what inspired you to start your business and what steps did you take to build your business online?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tasneem. Thank you so much, Natasha. It's very insightful and very absolutely honoring to be joining you today. Just a little bit of background about our story, I think. I came from Syria only 4.5 years ago. I arrived here in 2015. My family ran a chocolate factory back there for almost 2 decades, since 1986. When my dad graduated as a civil engineer, and he came home and he wanted to create difference and just do something that none of my family members before him have done. All of my family members, they were following their passion to become entrepreneurs or become engineers, become physicians. None of them really became a chocolate maker, and he said that chocolate makes everyone happy. So he started that company with his passion to make the world a better place in 1986. And the company has grown really quickly in Damascus, in Syria. Within only 5 years, my father started branching in the country, exporting in the Middle East. In 2008, it became the second largest chocolate company in the Middle East. But unfortunately, in 2012, the factory was bombed by an airstrike. It was bombed only 10 minutes after my father and all the staff have left. There were hundreds of staff there. But after that, we realized as a family that we had no place to stay in the country. So we decided to leave. And the decision to leave our homeland was really one of the most difficult, because we didn't know if we could even start the business again. My background is in medicine, but also coming from that entrepreneurial spirit in the family has been a reward to me, certainly. It just opened my eyes a lot since leaving the country on the ways and the potential to create change and do something different. So while in Lebanon, I applied to come to Canada to continue my studies, but my family and I arrived only in 2015 and early 2016, my extended family. And we came here to Canada on the purpose of rebuilding our lives and contributing to the Canadian economy and the Canadian society and giving back, which is really important. And I'm sure all of you hearing me today would connect to some of these points when we know that Canada is an amazing country where we have a lot of potential. It's the second largest country in the world. And there is no excuse, honestly, for someone not to be successful. There is no excuse. We have all the resources that we need. We have this amazing, powerful community around us that they just want to support and help. And from Natasha was saying, many Canadians want to support local, want to support positive stories. So I think it is time for all of those entrepreneurs out there to take their stories to another level and make it concrete and understandable for all the consumers on the other end, because people are busy in their lives. And I think it is super important for each and every single one of us to make sure we communicate to the fans or customers and audience whatever the way you look at them. I think it is first you have to look at them as family, because you have to see your family in the eyes of your customers and your fans as well. If you don't see your family there is something wrong. So when we started the company in 2016, it was built by the support of our community. I am speaking here from Nova Scotia. Our little community in Antigonish has been a great support to our family since we came here. And the entire community came to support us build a small factory outside of our house in 2016. But let me tell you, how did we start first and why are we now online? So our company started by selling a few pieces of chocolate at a booth at the farmer's market. And in May 2016, we realized that there were wildfires in Fort McMurray in Alberta. And we said that we are successful now in Canada, so we have the responsibility, even though we are newcomers, to support other Canadians who are suffering. And that was really the main mission. Why did we call it Peace by Chocolate in the first place? The company that we called Peace by Chocolate was to support peace as a noble value, and chocolate is our product of happiness. So we mixed and merged both of them, and we started shipping chocolate all across the country later that year. But what was really important at the beginning is to build that concrete. The first step in doing business is to analyze your customer and doing something unique and something different. You can't do something like others and expect different results. And especially in business right now, when you see so much commercialization out there, try to connect your brand to the heart and soul and emotions of your customer, and you will see certainly the results that come back. So in 2016, after we launched that campaign to support other Canadians, we have seen many Canadians joining us, because we have really wanted to make sure that we understand business is power. Whatever you do in business, whether you are a concrete business, whether you started just a startup, or whether you are an advanced business and trying to expand, we are all the same. We have a responsibility as community members to share and contribute. So later that year, we opened our online store for the first time. It was on Christmas 2016, and at that time we have realized that online and e-commerce is being trending, and we just launched our first website on Squarespace. It was one page, and around Christmas time, we were super surprised that within 3 hours, we got almost 1,500 orders. We were a new company that we just launched, and we got 1,500 orders. So we had to shut down our website. Who shuts down their website because they have so much sales? We had to do that because we couldn't really fill all the orders. At that time, we realized that we have to keep communicating with our customers. So we made sure to communicate in the beginning with all of our customers that they were trying to reach out to us, who signed up on our website. We kept sending e-blasts in the beginning in 2017, letting them what is new in our company. And honestly, all the e-blasts that we sent were not only to sell chocolate. Most of them were to thank people for the support that we have received in the beginning, and also to reflect how much we have to offer, right? So we launched it on Christmas. Then the next year in 2017, it was the time for Valentine's and Easter. We started creating these different campaigns. It was absolutely a delightful time for me and my family. We started sharing all of these amazing themes at the end of the day, as I mentioned, it's about being unique and being different. And these challenging times that we're living right now, really, I can't speak enough about how important it is to think about the values that govern your business in the first place before you think about everything else. And after that, when you try to take any business online, just make sure you use the right platforms and also ask the experts. None of us were experts in e-commerce, and we might never be, but there are people who do this full time. So when we launched the company, I am not a website builder, so we asked some friends who really helped us in the beginning to build the website and to design the marketing materials for the company and all the digital presence for our company. But in 2018, we moved from Squarespace to Shopify because we realized that as a business, we have to understand the analytics of our consumers and our fans and what products are doing well, where are our customers going. You know, we have the sections on our website right now. If you go to piecebychocolate.ca, you would see all the products in the first page. You would see the services that we offer between the corporate orders, the custom orders, the speaking about our story, and all the locations as we started sending chocolate mainly online. So you really don't go online only to sell people online, but also you go online to let people know what do you have to offer. So I started really being a big believer in e-commerce since 2018 and continuing to do so right now. When COVID-19 hit in March this year, our company was planning to expand and ship chocolate to the US and international markets, but we were planning to do that as a wholesaler. We had to readjust and we had to readapt. And I think at this time, I encourage all businesses to rethink on the way that they do businesses and always think that it is not the end of the road or the life of the business. If you notice that some bumps on the road throughout the last few months, there is always challenges. I think what matters is how we perceive these challenges, right? We can sit down and complain and say that we can't do anything, or we can dig down and find solutions. And that's what entrepreneurs do, right? As Reid Hoffman once said, entrepreneurship is like jumping off cliffs and building a plane on the way down. So the beauty about being an entrepreneur or being in business is that you have this power to be super flexible, to be at the service of your community to create what they really need. So just a few things about how our company adjusted to COVID-19 in the beginning of the pandemic. So we realized that people didn't want to go to grocery stores to buy chocolate. We have lowered our shipping, free shipping from $125 to $50. So all orders over $50, they started getting free shipping. And we created something called the Mood Booster Box. It is something that's been shared around the country around Easter time because we wanted to support families. And we wanted to tell Canadians that even though we're not making really or meeting our margins or just making the profit to be a sustainable business at that time, but we wanted to be there for each other. We wanted to be there for our customers. We wanted to be there for our brand that we always speak about. And since then, honestly, people started believing more in our company. And at that time in Easter and May, the phone really didn't stop, even though we had to shut down the company for 3 months. But our online presence was growing because also of using social media to communicate with our clients. So for all entrepreneurs out there today, I highly encourage you to think first about how can you incorporate the online presence and the easiness and the resources that they are available out there to start and move your business online. It is absolutely a necessity, as we were talking in the beginning of this session. It's not luxury anymore. It is certainly a necessity, and I really hope that to see more Canadians supporting local businesses throughout online purchases. But as the company Piece by Chocolate, we were planning to be one of the top 5 chocolate companies in Canada within the next 5 years. And honestly, since the beginning of the pandemic, we decided to be one of the top 5 chocolate companies in Canada, not only wholesale, but also online. So we have hired a team of experts. Now they are doing all the analyzing our website, our online platforms, and also our social media. Don't underestimate the power of social media at this time, because to speak about what you are going to do even online and the services and products that you offer, social media platforms can be certainly a great help. And it is that thing that now you have no excuse not to be on Facebook. You don't have an excuse not to be on Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. Have a profile even on TikTok, right? That was impossible for some businesses a few months ago. Now it is important. Go out there and invest in all of those platforms. It doesn't hurt. It will pay off later on. So Facebook is our main platform that we use to share our news. I highly encourage all business owners, entrepreneurs to be out there all the time and keep people updated. This is very critical and very important. Last thing I want to share on this note is, from what we have seen, our business this year online has grown more than 300% around Easter time, Mother's Day, even now throughout the summer. What we realize is that the consumer trends and the consumer behavior has certainly changed, and it is very important for all businesses to adapt and to tell customers that we are there for you because we know that you are there for us.
What a journey. That is so inspiring. Thank you, Tariq, for sharing that with us. Well, chocolates make me very happy. It's a delicious story, and what a powerful message. And as you and Natasha rightly said, consumers are actually ready to support local businesses, especially in these times. But if they don't find you online, they don't have the opportunity to support you. So you have the resources, you have the help you need, and there is no excuse not to be out there. So Natasha, with that, what do you think? I'd like to know some of your thoughts around how successful small businesses have navigated through COVID.
Absolutely. And first, Tariq, your story is amazing. I've heard it many times, but every time I hear it, I think, wow. And I'm so glad you're able to share those insights on this panel. I'll also share that I have a lot of empathy for small business owners, and that's because both of my parents have been small business owners, and I can imagine this has been a tough time for many of you, managing your cash flow, your staff, trying to figure out how to navigate around all the restrictions to drive your revenue. And so I think a lot of what Tariq shared, I'm going to try and distill what he shared, because there's a lot of what we've observed as well at Google as to what's helped small business owners be successful during this time and really future-proof their business. So I think the first thing is obvious but very important is leaning wholeheartedly into digital. And I know it's not easy for many of you. Some of you have websites, some of you may not. But I think taking those steps to either improve your online presence or getting online with a website and building your presence from there, which I'll talk about a bit later, is really important so your customers can find you and eventually transact online. I think secondly, business owners that are successful during this time are resourceful. So Tariq touched on this. He uses experts. I think we're also super fortunate to be in Canada. There is so much existing government programming as well that can really save you time and money. I know it takes a little bit of time to navigate, but I highly recommend looking into experts that can support you and also government programming. And for those of you that are in Ontario, the Government of Ontario has a grants program right now where if you apply, you can get $2,500 towards digital transformation and building out a lot of your capability, whether it's a website, getting onto Shopify, whatever that may be. And there's also training part of it. So I do want to encourage each of you to navigate resources within your own community and lean on experts. Thirdly, I think it's really important that entrepreneurs take care of themselves and operate with a very positive mindset. And I know that's not easy. And Tariq, as you can see, is very positive. So you heard a lot about that from him. But I think in this time, we can all agree that this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. So we all need to take care of ourselves so that we can keep our businesses on track. And then the last point I think is actually very important is taking time to plan. So I know this might seem like a tall order to take 3 to 5 hours out of your month while you're trying to manage your operations. But I do say that, if you can invest a little bit of time in planning around thinking through what kind of scenarios may be ahead and how you would manage cash flow, your operations, your staff, your customers, your online presence, etc., that could pay off in droves given the uncertainty ahead. And I think it's really important. When I'm working with large customers right now in my current role, a lot of us are doing scenario planning, and I think it's really important that we think ahead, and it will help us all get more organized and more ready for what's about to unfold ahead of us. So those are the things that I would keep in mind.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing this. And I'd like to echo just what you said. You know, we are really so blessed to be in Canada, where the government and the, you know, Canadians recognize the importance of small businesses and, you know, these amazing grants that we have to support the businesses. And I think just the right opportunity to make the most of it. Tariq, is there anything you would add on on what you think small businesses can do to manage and navigate through COVID?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm so thankful for Natasha for all of those excellent points. I certainly agree with all of them. Now we are talking in July and ending the summer, so it's been quite some time since COVID started. I think what matters right now for all business owners to move from the survival mode to the thriving mode again. We know that so many businesses had to shut down in March, but at the end of the day, what matters is the leadership within each organization and each small business even, to make sure that they are taking the right steps to protect their people first. People matters at the first, really. Like our staff were the first thing that we cared about when the pandemic hit. And even though we had to shut down, but we didn't leave anyone on their own, honestly. We have been checking on each one of them to make sure that they are doing all right. If we have built a team with blood, sweat, and tears, we wanted to continue with them. And so many of the businesses right now, they are just experiencing this uncertainty with staffing and labor and rebuilding their teams, which can be really challenging. I think it is important as we are speaking right now to make sure we are reaching out to those who have served us well in the comfort time, and now to make sure that they understand we are with them during the anxious times and the stressful times. Next thing is for any small business during COVID, I think pivoting is very important. You know, we have seen a lot of restaurants moving to online ordering and pick up from curbside and all of the other options, which was really phenomenal. But I think what matters at the end of the day is keeping being updated on the last measures that they are being taken, right? We don't know. We are also coming to uncertain times about the second wave of COVID. So I think from what we learned in the spring can be applied in the fall, but also in another way. I highly recommend for each and every single business really to think about how can they use these online platforms to enhance their business. And really, other than that, I think connecting with community in many ways. So what we did in April is we started a campaign to gift frontline workers with our product. We know that chocolate, helps all the time and support the mood. So we send chocolate to many hospitals and many healthcare facilities across the country. And we have seen this amazing response, not only really as a company that we were happy, we've seen so many people that they took the lead as well, and they started making some kind moves. So we launched a campaign with Goodable in Ontario, where we started sending packages of chocolate, a month supply of chocolate to individuals or organizations that they have been doing kind things. It's a time to reward kindness. So understanding the human behavior in all of those situations was really phenomenal to know where are we going in the first place. And supporting each other at the end of the day is really what matters. And as Natasha and as you have been talking about, most of the small businesses were really hit hard. Big businesses, they always find ways to pivot and change and just find other supply chain or find other consumers or try to move globally or to move locally or just adjust as planned. But I think small businesses are what matters at this moment, and they are the backbone of our country. So I encourage everyone to continue supporting local businesses, get out there and safely online. Just try to serve and look for people around you that they are doing good things in business, and try to support them. Because when this is over, we will understand how lucky we are to be in a community that stands with each other. Because if there's one member of society that is coming to be broken of this, we'll be all hurt out of it. So I think we have a responsibility as citizens of this country, as residents, to continue the leadership, not only locally, but also on the world stage. Because we understood during this pandemic that we are so interconnected. And being online, we are receiving messages from Germany, from Switzerland, from Japan, from China. That's another beauty of being online, and understanding that your market can be much bigger than you really expect. When we started our website, we shipped all across Canada. Now we ship internationally. And what does it take you? It takes you a tick on Shopify to adjust your settings, and then talk to your couriers about your option to ship internationally if your product is shippable first. But as I mentioned, we are living in the world that turned into a small village, where I am talking to you now from Nova Scotia, and you are there on the other side of the country, and people listening to us might be in Canada, might be outside. Take advantage of this. Take advantage of the internet, and always understand that we are coming to a new reality, not to put pressure on you, but also to make sure that you are always being up to date. So 3 things to care about in the way you do business. Always care about your community first, care about the environment, and also make good product. That's really the 3 things that's going to support you throughout what's coming next. Because we realize right now that all of the consumer behavior is based on the social responsibility. So I encourage all of you to really think about it and build plans according to that.
Thank you, Tariq. I couldn't agree with you more. And just like you mentioned, the beauty of the internet is that it never sleeps, which means customers can find you even when your store or your business is closed. And that allows your customers to research your product or services even after your business hours. And if you sell products, and an online store allows for a 24-hour order placement to capture a sale as soon as a customer is interested, right? And as opposed to waiting for your store to open, by which time the urge to buy may have passed. Natasha, I'd like to get your thoughts on, what do you think? How can small businesses grow their business online?
Yes, that's a great question. And I just want to echo a lot of Tariq's points around presence in the community and the fact that small businesses are the lifeblood of Canada. And we know that Dustin alluded to that. And we know that 90% of Canadians are employed by small businesses. So I'm excited to talk about how you can have more presence online. And I think it comes down to a few steps, which were already alluded to by Tariq. But number 1 is make sure your customers can find you and that you communicate with them. And I think one important place for you to think about is making sure that you've updated your Google My Business profile with accurate hours, descriptors, and also if you can encourage good customers to leave you a review, that can be very helpful. Now, what we've done to augment our business profile on our end is we have a COVID update section that you can now all update, which includes things like closures or reduced hours, your safety and hygiene practices, which, by the way, is super important for consumers right now. Many of them are researching online to see, does their local business have safety and hygiene front and center? We've also added features around gift cards to support businesses, and I know a lot of Canadians are looking to buy gift cards for local businesses, which I think is great. And also we've uploaded and provided the ability to actually do scheduling of online classes and services. So do check that out, all under the Google My Business profile, and that will help your customers find you and give you the ability to communicate with them. Secondly, I think there's a big opportunity to build or enhance your website. Many of you already have a website. If you do, use the data to keep enhancing it. As you heard from Tariq, he had a 300% lift in his e-commerce business. So I know he had, as you can see, access to data to give him that insight. And for those of you that haven't built a website, I'd really love you to think about it, because there's some also great data points there that will be very helpful for navigating ahead. So once you do build a website, you'll be able to see things like time of day your customers are looking at your websites, what products or services they find more interesting, and that can all help you think about the future ahead. The third thing is building out your social media presence, which Tariq also mentioned, around Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And I think that's important to just sort of widen your reach and also communicate with your customers. And then lastly is digital marketing. And so that could be things like Google Ads, shopping, and even email marketing. A lot of those things can enhance your ability to market from there. But again, there are a lot of free tools out there that you can use to get started. So I just want to encourage each of you to update your Google My Business profile. So at least when Canadians are searching, they can find you and they can get accurate information about your business. And ideally, you can connect them to also your website, and with a big feature on safety and hygiene from there. So thanks, Tasnim. I'll pass it back to you.
Great, what wonderful resources. And just like Tariq shared, web presence reaches out to everyone who passes by your virtual doorstep, which could include people from right next door or in another country. So depending on your specific industry and offerings, this could open up a much wider customer base if you have the ability to transact online, right, Natasha? So what according to you are the key recommendations when allowing your customers with the ability to transact online, right? Like there are lots of options, and how should businesses pick them? Can you talk us more through that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question, Tasnim, and I'll talk about the Shop Here program later. But what I'd love all of you to think about is how you can help your customers transact online. And it doesn't necessarily mean buy your service and product, because that's sort of the far end of the spectrum, although I'd love all of you to be able to do that. But in the interim, I'd love each of you, if you have a service, to think about how can you get your customers to book that service online. And if you have a product and aren't quite ready to have your product be sold online, can you have your customers maybe reserve it and pick it up curbside and make that contactless. So my main advice is really about how can you turn digital into a sales channel, or at minimum a lead generation channel, to make it easier for your customers to transact online. And as I mentioned, not transact online, but actually buy from you. Canadians are really looking to support local businesses. So you've got them there, and your job now is to make it easy for them to buy from you. So that's my main advice, and I'll touch on Shop Here a bit later.
Great. That's actually great, Natasha, and actually reminds me on something that Tariq mentioned earlier about pivoting. So it reminds me of a cafe in my BIAs, very popular for their breakfast sandwiches, and how they pivoted from being a cafe to an online general store to stay relevant. So when consumers, they looked for them online, they couldn't get the sandwiches, but they had the ability to order all the ingredients that went in it, pay online, and pick it up from the curbside. So I think that's what I think Tariq was also trying to focus on, saying you need to kind of pivot and stay relevant in these times. Tariq, what are your thought process around the advantages and best practices when you decided to offer your customers with the ability to make that online transaction?
It's quick. It's quick, and it's really efficient, honestly. Like our customers, we have noticed that since we moved online and we started really working on our online presence, they found it really easy and very, very efficient. And we have seen all of those platforms right now working around the clock to make sure that all issues and different kind of payments, and they can just process the orders very smoothly, and you can just have these accounts where you can just click the button and you can repeat your order, you can place an order, a new order, adjust your order, you can call, and you can really have the customer right now has all the power to make any changes to the things that they want, or return the orders, or check everything that they need. It is a powerful tool, honestly. And if we are going to summarize some of the advantages as a company, as I mentioned first, it's the global access, 24/7. We are always there. Some people from France, they go 3 a.m. in my time and they place an order, and I see it when I wake up, or our staff just see it when they wake up. It doesn't really have to be in one place. You are all around the globe. You are all around, and the word is being shared. The second thing is about very easy to leave a review and suggest feedback, right? When you have a business, an actual business, you find it really hard for people to come to your face and say, I didn't like your product, right? While when they are sitting in their house, they will be super neutral. They will tell you exactly how they feel. They will send you an email, or they will just go on Google My Business, or they will go on Facebook, or they will go on Twitter, and they will let you know how did they feel about it. That, you know, they don't have to make up to really make sure that the vendor is happy. Right now, is the customer really is the one that should be happy at the end of the day. The other thing is certainly about the cost savings within our company has been tremendous when we focus more about the talents and the skills of our staff rather than really paying for existing and physical tools in the company. And at the end of the day, you have ways to deliver products to the doorstep of your customers, whatever you deliver, whether it's a physical product or whether it's a digital product, it's always there, and you have all kind of tools to make the deliveries. And we have seen a lot of these reports to make sure that there is no backlog in the system, right? When you have a business, you have the ability all the time to check with your careers, to check with your supply chain stakeholders, and to make sure that everything is smooth and easy. And honestly, what's also more important about being online is I notice no one really talks about this, but it's quite healthier to our planet, right? Like, we are saving our planet by doing more businesses online, because we are doing less paper, we're doing less of these actual physical purchasing and non-renewable materials in the business itself. So there's really a lot to share on that. But I think what matters at the end of the day for being online in this time is being able to keep the updates flowing smoothly and have the audience who have your back, always there for you. For example, as a chocolate company, when we launched that Easter product in the beginning of the pandemic in April, realized that certainly people were not willing to go into grocery stores. So we created a theme called So Much Peace. And what we understood as a business, people want to have an impact, a lasting impact with each product, right? They don't want just to eat the chocolate, and we don't make chocolate for that. We send them violet seeds with each product. And now in the summer, they started growing it with their family, all of these seeds that they arrive with our products, and they are sending us pictures of the flowers. You can go on our Facebook page and you can see all of the amazing pictures that they're sending us. So all of those businesses as well, they can take the advantage of learning about their competitors, right? To know what other people are doing. While it was really difficult in the beginning to know how to compete and how to be at the level of your competitors, because to be honest with you, you can't live in business if you are not up to the standards that everyone else expects from you. So throughout this pandemic, we have realized more than ever that the connectivity between a business and the other end, which is the consumer, the customer, the fan, the audience, whatever you want to call them, is certainly higher and certainly more important. The other part of being online at this time is sustainability, right? When we are online, we understand very well how our customers behave. And when we adapt and when we adjust, we are gaining a lifelong customer and supporter. And they will be super loyal to your brand, that even though regardless of your prices, regardless of whatever you are trying to make, they will have your back because they believe in your business. So it's not really important only for the customer to believe, for the owner to believe. It's a whole circle where everyone really believes in what they are doing for the good of our people, for the good of the planet. So I would summarize that in one sentence. I think if it's not working, we used to say go networking, and now if it's not working, go online networking, right? So there you have a lot of ways to make sure that your business is being enhanced and to also learn from experts. So go on LinkedIn, find someone on that platform, for example, who is doing support for online businesses and for e-commerce, and just send them a message. Maybe there are webinars out there that you don't know about. So make sure that you're using every second of your time now to learn I think for all businesses who had to shut down, we understood firsthand as business owners, as business leaders in this province and in the country, that we might not know anything about what really to come, but it's important to have all the tools in hand. So when things get harder, when things get more comfortable for your audience, you have all the options on your table online to make sure that you are making the changes that they are needed.
Brilliant, Tariq. And like you mentioned, an online presence shows you what works and what doesn't, right? So it's like the market intelligence, and you can get to know your customers so much better. What else could you ask for, to make sure you're serving your consumers with what they need versus what you want to sell them? So Natasha, could you shed some light on using the power of data to gain insights for your business operations and to improve revenue and business results?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first I do want to acknowledge that I know business operators are very busy, but as you can hear from Tariq, the data is really powerful for understanding how to power your operations and also your strategy going forward. And so, for example, if you look at your Google My Business profile, you can get data there around which days of the week are busier, what time of day people have called your store, and that can help you figuring out how to staff your store, what store hours to keep, and that can be really valuable in saving time and money. In addition, when we look ahead, we all know that COVID has created a lot of uncertainty for businesses. And I think having this kind of real-time data can really help all of you just be more agile and understand how to pivot your business accordingly. And so I just want to really encourage everyone to use whatever data you have at your fingertips to really look at your business operations, figure out how to focus and spend time and energy there. It will save you a lot of money, a lot of time and effort. And then the last point is that there's so much training available online. So as Tariq mentioned, this is such a great opportunity to get educated on what's available there, to reach out to experts. I know a lot of platforms, including our own, have published so many resources online to learn what you need to be doing. And I know that's also why the Economic Planning Board is hosting these series as well, is to make sure that all of our small businesses have the tools and capabilities to navigate through this time.
Brilliant. And Tariq, you mentioned about some metrics that helped your business. What key indicators do you think have been instrumental in the growth of your business?
There's been certainly a lot. What we noticed in the business in the beginning, all the conversion rates within our platforms. We use both. We have a retail platform. It's on Shopify. It's peacefulchocolate.ca. And if there are any businesses that they are still open, for example, gift shops across the country that they stayed open, and even cafes or restaurants that they want to serve our chocolates to their customers, we have another platform for them called our website is peacefulchocolatevendor.ca, which is another platform where we use different service provider there as well. So the conversion rate is very important. The traffic on the website is certainly something that you can't ignore at this time, right? You have to know who is visiting your website and where they are from, because if you are sitting in Canada and you're noticing, oh, there are so many people in Singapore asking for a service that I can provide, then you can use certain social media ads or targeted digital ads to make sure that you reach this specific group of people, right? And this is the beauty of it, because when we used to do ads, for example, TV ads or printed ads and other type of advertising, that was very random, and your chance to get really the head of your targeted customer was very low. And we have seen that conversion rate certainly has gone much higher. The other indicators for our business certainly was about the click-through rate. We have the page views on each of our website, and other than that, honestly, it's about analyzing your social media presence and your social media subscribers, followers. It is very important to keep growing that audience to make sure that your message is going through. We know that so many platforms online now are making the reachability of your posts or your products low because you want to make advertising, but there are many ways to generate more organic features, I think, and I think the result can be really awesome if you just scroll through whatever you have posted so far and know really what your audience like. Like if you are posting an image about something that no one really liked, just make sure you don't post about that topic again. Again, go through everything that you have been sharing and make sure that you learn from your numbers. Take all of those percentages into consideration. Nothing is extra at this moment. Everything should be certainly talked about, should be considered. And at the end of the day, what we have seen the most loyal audience for us are on social media, as I mentioned, but the highest platform really that anyone can use on their websites is to make sure that they are growing their list of subscribers, right? Because you will reach them by email. And I think this is a great way to communicate a message or a new product or share an exciting thing or update your hours about your business or give them something that is really new that they haven't heard about, that is going to make the news next about your business. Growing your list of subscribers can be really at the top of the list, I would say. But as a business, as I mentioned, there is a lot to learn from experts, like Natasha has mentioned, and all of those people out there. But small business owners, sometimes they get overwhelmed with what's out there. So make sure that you are connecting with the right people at the right time and making sure that the services that you are offering speaks to your customers. And if you are doing an ad about a product, make sure to test it organic first and make sure that you're not wasting your money, because you can spend $100 on Facebook and not get anything. You can spend $25 on an ad on 5 days and you can see the result really much better. It's all about understanding this. And you are not alone, honestly. Like if you are feeling that this is very new to you, you are not alone. And by using the internet right now, you can just go on Google or go on YouTube or go on any platforms and learn from there. Knowledge is free right now. You know, you have, as I mentioned in the beginning, you have no excuse to sit there behind your laptop and say, oh, I don't know about this. You don't know about this. Go Google it and go try to find answers to your question. Just don't sit there and complain, I think. It is really critical for all of those business owners right now to navigate their way on their own, because they are leaders, and everyone in the country and everyone around the world is counting on these businesses to stay alive, because I think no economy on this planet would really afford for loss of more businesses. So I think the online way for all of us, it has certainly been a great help. And throughout all the metrics that I have mentioned, throughout all the metrics that Natasha has mentioned, I think we can continue in a more resilient way to build more resilient businesses. So resiliency through adversity is at the last metric that I would talk about. It's you have to measure your resiliency and to make sure that you are not leaning away from the problems. You are facing it and you are taking responsibility for what's to come.
Thank you so much, Tariq, for sharing such amazing and very helpful tips. And resiliency through adversity. I think that's really a key takeaway from this discussion. And as we are leaning towards the end of our webinar, Natasha, we'd like to get your advice for our small businesses as next steps on getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I wanted to touch on here the Shop Here program, which was launched in partnership with the government, Shopify, and powered by Google, to build 50,000 e-commerce websites for small businesses. And this would be with the support of 1,500 students that would actually support these businesses to offer a platform to sell your goods and services online. So I'm really excited about this program. It's free, which is always the best price tag. And the criteria is actually you need to be a registered business or nonprofit. You need to have less than 10 employees. And if you're a restaurant, you have to have less than 25. And basically you register online. We're going to share all the information, but this is a great example of a private and public sector partnership to support the lifeblood of the economy. So I think all of us recognize how important small businesses are. And again, if you want to future-proof your business, I highly recommend that you go online and see what's possible there. Again, we're trying to get 50,000 businesses online, and that would be for free. If you, any of you need help, I do also want to encourage you to call the access line within the Jamaat. The number is 1-888-536-3599. There are volunteers available to support all the small businesses that may need support. We're also going to be publishing a digital starter kit on the same website where you're going to be seeing this webinar. And we're also going to upload that to the II Canada website very soon. So again, no shortage of resources, but to get started, I highly recommend the Shop Here program. And if that's doesn't turn out to be in your wheelhouse, then please do check out the digital starter kit. It does touch on a lot of the insights that Tariq highlighted and that I highlighted today to help you get started.
That sounds like a wonderful opportunity, Natasha. And I'm sure, Tariq, you're thinking, why didn't you have this program and these grants when you were starting up, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think now there is more support than ever. We are seeing a lot of growth within the support in the country. So we are really grateful for that. There's a lot to learn about and a lot to apply for. So I think for all of those businesses out there, check what's available, all the resources, and make sure you contact your your government connections within your area. There is a lot of support there, whether it's federally or whether it's provincially, and even the private sector and digital companies are offering a lot of support and learning as well. So I really encourage everyone to go there and call that line to make sure you get the support that you need.
Tariq, what would that be, that one piece of advice you wanted to give to our business owners?
I have a lot of advice to them. Honestly, there is certainly a lot that has happened throughout the last few months. But people used to say that no one can go back and start a new beginning. So we can't just go back to last year, to 2019, and wish that 2020 was a better year. I think everyone can start today and make a new ending to this. So start today, make sure that you understand the new reality very well, and make sure that you don't give up, right? We all have challenges in our life. So this is not really the end of the road. You can find your way, you can find your customers and your supporters in all the ways possible. And as I mentioned, if we compare our reality here in Canada to other countries around the world that they are suffering much more, we found how lucky we are to be here. And I think at the end of the day, as a business owner, always thinking globally and think about how can you support other businesses who are suffering around the world, because we are all responsible for each other at this moment. So customers can make their decisions to support businesses, but also businesses can take their decisions to support other businesses. So make sure that you communicate with your network very well, you are well connected, and just don't give up, and be out there, and people will find you, as we mentioned at the beginning of this.
Thank you, Tariq. Over to you, Natasha. What would be that one piece of advice for our business owners?
So I think it's a tough question, but I'd say it is so important to future-proof your business, and especially with the uncertainty ahead. And I think the best way to future-proof your business is to invest in digital. And I know for some of you that might feel overwhelming, but I just want to encourage you to take little steps every day, and that will have a compounding effect on how it helps your business in the future.
Great. So with that, thank you, Natasha and Tariq, for your time and valuable insights. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to facilitate this webinar. We really hope that our webinar was insightful and have provided you with the resources you need to help grow your digital presence. So if you're not online yet, this is your time, as your customers are already there. And if you're already online, how does your online presence compare? So make sure to follow the best practices as shared by our guest speakers on managing through the uncertainty ahead to make your business more resilient. Invest in a strong online presence so that customers can find you, and ensure that they can make an online transaction with you to whatever suits your business. And don't forget to use the power of data to gain insights for your business operations and to improve revenue. With that, thank you once again for your time. If you need assistance, the access line 1-888-536-3599 has volunteers available to support you, and a digital starter kit will be on the page of the recording and uploaded to the II Canada website soon. And thank you, the Aga Khan Economic Planning Board for Canada, for this amazing initiative. So important for our small businesses. And with that, have a great day and stay safe. Thank you.